Success. Media. Network.
But I am like teetering on it to where it's just like, okay, this is normal now. And if I would have imagined a year ago, like I couldn't even have imagined, what I was doing, like the people I was hanging out with, the people that were calling on me for advice, like it never, I never would have been able to imagine. So it's like now that I'm here, I'm like, all right, this is normal. So now I'm going to coast for a little while, and then the next point of up leveling, I think I'll go back to having whatever. It's almost like it's like nerves, but it's like anticipatory, exciting nerves.
This is your show. Good day, successors. I am Antonio Holman, and welcome to the 4 Principles of Success number 21, where I chat with successful people and entrepreneurs about how they enhance their businesses and lives in the areas of knowledge, health, wealth, and spirituality. Today, we're talking to Nicole Holland. Nicole is located in Crystal Beach, Ontario, Canada, and is the founder and the lady behind the scenes at interviewsthatconvert.com, the ultra all-inclusive solution for busy CEOs, authors, and thought leaders. Nicole helps experts increase their visibility exponentially through podcast guesting in order to create a greater impact, influence, and income. Proud to have been named in the Huffington Post as one of the 50 most followed women entrepreneurs in 2017, Nicole inspires entrepreneurs all around the world through her popular podcast, the Business Building Rockstars Show, and her annual online summit, the Business Building Rockstar Summit. Nicole, are you ready to help our listeners prepare for success?
Woo, yeah, I am.
Excellent. Okay, let's get into this. So,
all right.
How about you start by telling our listeners a little bit about your personal life?
Yeah, what do you want to know? I'm 41. I have purple hair. As you said, I live in a little town called Crystal Beach. It's a beautiful little spot just across the water from Buffalo, New York in Ontario. And I've been building my online business for about 2 years now. And it's been a blast. And it's afforded me the freedom to travel and to play. Like, it's funny because people will say, they'll talk about balance, or they'll talk about, you can't work so many hours. And I'm like, but it's fun, but I'm passionate about it, but I'm excited about it. And so in my personal life is my professional life. And I would have never been able to picture this a couple years ago. But now that I'm in it, it's like, I don't know where the separation is.
Yeah. What you touched on is pretty much like mine goes, because I work nonstop doing this podcasting and all the things that are connected to it. And I work. And everybody's like, you're working too much, but I'm having a blast.
Yeah. It's like, this is work, right? Like, you and I are hanging out. It's a Saturday. Whatevs. We're hanging out on Skype, having a conversation, getting to know each other, connecting with your listeners. And like, this is our job. It's awesome.
Oh, man, that's the way it's supposed to be. All right. For those who may not know, tell us a little bit more about interviewsthatconvert.com and how your company helps experts gain even more traction in their industries.
Yeah. So interviewsthatconvert.com originally was a program. I had created a beta program this last summer in 2016 for experts who wanted to get out on podcasts, but really to teach them how to do it right. Because what I was finding as a podcast host myself was I was getting people on my show that really didn't care about me. They really didn't care about my audience. All they cared about was what's in it for them. And it really started to piss me off, to be honest with you. I think more than anything, life is about relationships. Business is about relationships. Everything's about relationships. And if you aren't building relationships, you are missing out. If you're not building quality relationships, I should say. And so what I would find was that no matter how powerful and successful somebody was, did not necessarily make them a great guest, because they didn't understand the intricacies of the independent podcaster and what we are doing and the work that we put in. And so they would show up with poor audio, or they'd just show up to spew their message. And I was looking at analytics, and I was listening to my audience, and people did not enjoy that. They're like tuning out. So I was teaching a lot, right? I was teaching my guests, I was teaching my friends everything I'd learned, and then I was guinea pigging it myself by going on other shows and testing out my theories of what makes a great guest, what makes somebody stand out from somebody who's just average. And my hypotheses worked. And so I started writing a book about it because I just couldn't contain myself. I couldn't keep it to myself. And then I had a couple mentors that said, no, you need to get this out. And I had a couple podcasters say, no, you need to teach this out. You need to get this out in a different way. So what I decided to do was put it into a online program. I just kind of let my list know about it, my people who've been in my community for a while who already knew me and trusted me. And I said, hey, if anybody's interested in this, I'm going to test this with you. Like, I want to teach you this, and let's see. And if there's anybody interested. And so I had a small group of people that said yes, and they paid me for this, as we call beta. And I taught it in the summer. And I was supposed to relaunch it. The intention was to relaunch it in February, so not very long ago. But I just, something was like bugging me about it. I couldn't really get it out. And so I sat with that, and I figured out that it was because I didn't want to just keep this information for people who would pay for it. I really want to change the industry. I want to up-level the industry, and I want the best guests, and I want you to have the best guests, Antonio. I want your audience to have the best guests. So I thought, how can I do that in a way that is free, that it's out there and there's no barrier to entry? And so what I decided to do was put everything from the program Interviews That Convert into a free podcast and free course. So now what used to be a paid program and what was supposed to be basically a $2,000 program is now, between the podcast and the free course, it's a 3-week e-course that anybody can access. And if they're motivated, they will get huge results from it. And then, so getting back to the question, so now Interviews That Convert and interviewsthatconvert.com, that has evolved into people were asking me to handle their bookings, because I was connecting people, I was introducing lots of people, but I had some very very busy CEOs. I had some great people that were like, well, all this is well, and I understand the value of podcast guesting, but I don't have the time to go and vet these shows. I don't have the time to decide if it's, to go back and forth and email and this and that. So can you just do it for me? And that's really how my ultra all-inclusive services came about. So now I'm serving people at the VIP level, where I handle everything from coaching them on how to get the most out of their interviews. And I set up everything from vetting and booking and prep them and everything, to a mid-tier where I'm providing connections, and then a lower tier that's very accessible for everybody, that includes coaching with me and lots of direction and support that's at a membership level.
You are absolutely an angel in the podcast industry, because I'm still new at this. So I'm like, how the hell am I going to find all these guests that I'm really interested in interviewing, and finding new people that I've never even known to exist? And someone like you is exactly what this industry needs. From what I've learned so far, from what I know, there's like 3 or 4 people who do these types of things, and I'm just blown away, by what you do, and it's very appreciated.
There are tons of people, actually, but I have to say, I see that you've had Tom Schwab and Jessica Rhodes on the show, both amazing people,
yeah.
And what they do is so great. And the beauty is that we're all so different. And what I figured out a while ago, and I keep having to teach myself over and over and over, and maybe you've had the same experience, maybe your listeners can relate as well, is that I know myself and I know what pleases me and I know the people I want to work with, and I want to work with people that like me. I want to work with people I like. If we can't sit down and have a coffee or a beer together, then I don't really want to do business with you. But sometimes we forget and we get into that mindset of, okay, I got to pay the bills. And so we take on clients, or even at a higher level, relationships, intimate relationships or different types of relationships that don't serve us well. And then it's like, something happens and you're like, why did I do that? So there's that lesson over and over. And what I have come to realize is that I don't want the people that will be best suited for Jessica or best suited for Tom. And the people who will be best suited for me won't be best suited for them. And so that's the beauty of it, is that even though there's so many people, quote unquote, doing the same thing, we're totally not. And my focus that really, I think, makes me stand out is the relationship. Because even though I'm only hired by the expert, right? So my clients are the guests. I seek to build deep relationships with you, with the hosts. I'm not getting paid for that. But the better I know you, the better I know your audience, the better I can match you up with one of my clients, because I'm so committed to having a win-win-win. And every day I'm getting like messages from hosts saying, oh my gosh, this was the best interview ever. I can't believe this went so well. Thank you so much. And I really do see myself as that matchmaker, that relationship matchmaker, so that the guests that come on the shows are a perfect fit for the host and a perfect fit for the audience. Yeah.
See, that's how you offer a high quality service, because as they say, not all money is good money and not all relationships are good relationships. So that's very, very smart.
Indeed.
I like that. So now how'd you get into podcasting anyway, out of the blue?
So it's funny that you should ask. Right now, we're sitting here recording on March 11th. It is 2:21 p.m. I'm seeing, and I'm not a numbers person, but this is episode 21, and I'm not sure what day it's going out, but March 21st, 2016, it was my launch day for my first podcast, and I had interviewed for my summit 30 experts, my first summit. The last one was more, but the first summit in 2015, I interviewed 30 experts on 30 different marketing strategies. And I was not a podcast listener. I didn't really know anything about podcasts. I didn't really care about podcasts. But I knew that podcasting was a topic that people wanted to know about, and it was a hot marketing strategy.
Wait. How were you interviewing these people? Was it like a video?
Yes, videos. So for the summit, I do video interviews, and I had never done a video interview. I'd never done an interview at all before.
Wow.
2015 summit was my first. Yeah. AJ Amex. I interviewed him about Twitter. He was my very first interview ever. And so I knew that the topic was, a great topic, and I wanted to find the best people for the content, right? And so I found this guy called John Lee Dumas, and I found out that he was, quoted as the best by a lot of people.
John's awesome.
The best person to teach about podcasting. So I reached out, and he said yes to me, and I interviewed him on the summit. And during the interview, what he said made sense. And afterwards, he said, Nicole, if you are enjoying interviewing people, you should do podcast, because it's a lot easier than a summit. And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever, that's fine. But I'm just like, I don't know anything about podcasting. But I appreciated his position, and I did take it under advisement. And so when I was looking at my 2016 marketing plan, because I like to focus on 3 areas, right? And so I knew I had the summit. I was planning on writing a book. That didn't happen in 2016, but it's now going to happen in 2017.
Nice.
And then I thought, okay, well, let's try this as a marketing arm. And so I wound up joining his program, Podcaster's Paradise. And with a little kick in the butt from him, I set the date at March 21st. And the rest is history. I mean, my entire business now revolves around podcasting. My life revolves around podcasting. I just got back from PodFest in Orlando, Florida. I'm looking forward to going to Podcast Movement in August in Anaheim. I am now speaking twice next month on stages about podcast guesting. It's incredible how my life has completely changed through this medium, and I definitely owe that to John Lee Dumas.
Wow, that is incredible. You're heading where I'd like to head myself on the speaking and everything else, basically. Oh man, that's good. I love that.
And you know what? I am not a speaker, and I'd never given a public, like a speaking presentation, if you will, as an adult ever. Until I did at PodFest a few weeks ago. And they approached me. So far everybody's approached me, which has been really amazing. And what I realized is I don't have to do it the way everybody else does it, because that just doesn't work for me. But when I bring my true, authentic self forward, that's what resonates with people. And I did corporate training, so I'm used to speaking in front of a group, but a small group. And it was a group that knew me, right? So I had my students and my clients I had with me for periods of time. So it's very different than getting up on a stage in front of a cold audience and giving a talk. And I am not a presenter. On my podcast too, it is very conversational.
Yeah.
But the thing is I was open to all of this. And I think that is that and being authentic are the two top ingredients to my success, is that I knew I wanted something great, and I knew I knew I wasn't going to settle anymore for what I had, and I was not attached to the outcome. And so if I had been attached to here's what I want and here's how I'm going to get it and here's my plan, and I stuck to that, I would not have become a podcaster. But I was open to the opportunities that came up and the messages that presented themselves. And the more I showed up as myself, the more people that loved me gravitated towards me and would say, hey, come this way, come with me. I've got something for you. And the more I trusted that and I trusted myself, the more amazing people came forward. And the more the haters and the people who were going to steer me in the wrong direction and try and get something from me have fallen away. And it's been, I pinch myself every day. I'm so appreciative of this life.
That's the law of attraction. I always preach to people. They think I'm a nutcase, but that's okay because it works every single time. When you aim for good, you receive good, and the bad people just slowly start disappearing. And when you have a passion in your life, you have a passion for what you do, and that's related to when you were talking about public speaking. Me, I'm notoriously anti-sales and anti-salesman, but if it's my product or something I'm very passionate about, that's nothing. That's easy. That's easy. It feels good to speak about what I'm passionate about, simple.
And I like to call that attraction, like you said, attraction or magnetism versus sales. So, for example, we talked about the other, some of the other people in the industry that are doing quote unquote the same thing I'm doing. They are salespeople and they're incredible at it. I cannot compete in that arena. And if I try to, that's when I get the wrong clients because it's not me. And so the more, and actually just had a discovery call the other day, and this guy was comparing me with one of them, and he says, well, what's the difference and all this? And I tried to explain it to him, to tell him, here's what I do. And at one point he said, and I mean, no offense to him because he was asking the right questions. But he said something like, well, why should I choose you over this other company? And I said, you shouldn't. If you don't know, then you shouldn't. Please don't.
Yeah, it should feel right to you. Yeah.
Yeah, and because also I am not looking for you to choose me over somebody else, and I have to choose you too. And the more I can embrace that, the better. And it was that same day after that call, I had a call with somebody else who has already experienced me and had been listening to me and had listened to my podcast, like Get Guest Ready, you know, and had been really paying attention to me and what I do for probably about a month or so. I mean, I had met her previously, but she really started paying attention. And she's like, we got on the call and it was just a formality. Mm-hmm. She's like, you know, I guess I need a contract. And, you know, there were just a few questions, but it was like, that's what I want. I want those people to come to me when they already know, wait a minute, I need to work with Nicole because I want what she has. Mm-hmm. And so I'm actually stepping away from sales, and it's been tough because, you know, in the mind, it's like, well, you have to sell your services or you're going to be broke. And when I believe that, then it's a struggle. And when I stop listening to that voice and I go, wait a minute, I just want to have fun. I just want to work with people who love me up. That's exactly what I get. I mean, I had a notification come through that one of my clients just booked another 10 bookings with me, you know, just paid. Like, she didn't ask me, she didn't tell me, she didn't question, like, just the money came through. I was like, woohoo! And I had to celebrate that, right? Because that's what I'm looking for, attracting, magnetizing the people who love working with me, who are always oversatisfied, and who I just enjoy so much.
Yeah. And people ask you, well, you actually get to do something you enjoy doing for work? You know,
and
so
you make
funny.
Money at it?
Right. Now, when you were younger, did you have like an entrepreneurial venture that you started when you were like a child or even a little bit older? Really? What was that?
Oh, gosh, yeah. I was always the entrepreneur, I guess. It was funny, even like not even necessarily with money, but I remember when my dad would go out of town for work. My dad was the cook. He was really more the caretaker. Mm-hmm. And my mother, she made, what did we make? She had a few things. She made roasted chicken, grilled cheese sandwiches, and cream cheese and olive sandwiches. Oh, and cottage cheese pancakes. And that was it. There were like 4 things. So when my dad went away, I would get so excited because my dad also did not like me in his kitchen. He was very protective of his kitchen. Oh. So when he went away, I would say, oh, so much fun, right? So I would tell my mom what I needed for cooking. You know, I'd make a whole menu. I would actually make a physical menu.
Wow.
I would dress up and like I would have my little brother help sometimes if he was helpful and not if he wasn't. I'd fire him if he wasn't helpful. But I would cook the whole thing. I would not let them in the kitchen. Then I would have them come when dinner was ready, and I would seat them at the table and give them their menus. So I was running a little restaurant.
That's
just for my
pretty cool.
family.
Wow.
Yeah, and I mean, that was very young. But then as far as money went, I really liked money. And my father was also a gardener, and we always had way more than enough. He grew every vegetable or fruit that you can imagine.
Wow.
That was possible to do in the Mid-Atlantic region. Mm-hmm. And so when we had this fresh produce, it was always in abundance. And so there was more than my family could eat. There was more than our neighbors and friends could eat. And so the rest of it, my dad would help us. He would teach us, and we'd bag it up in little brown lunch bags and put prices on it. And we would put it into my little brother's red wagon. Mm-hmm. And we had a little sign. It was called Red Wagon Produce. And we would take it up to the pool and sit outside the entrance to the pool. So when the parents came, to take the kids to the pool, sometimes they would even place pre-orders. They'd say, oh, I want this and this and this.
Wow.
You know? and then when they would leave, they would take the fresh fruits and vegetables to their house. And we got to keep that money, whatever we sold, and we'd buy ice cream with it when the ice cream man came. And I liked to save it too. And yeah, my brother wasn't as into it as I was, but man, I loved that. I loved the exchange of service for service, like value for value, right? Like we had what they wanted and they paid for it. And so I think I was about 8 when we did that. So I guess that would be my first notable entrepreneurial endeavor.
That is a great, powerful lesson to show a child that when you do something for other people, you get what you want in return. That is so powerful.
So powerful. I'm so appreciative to my father for that lesson.
In your business, what was one of the hardest things for you to overcome that you've actually since conquered?
Well, that's a big and difficult question for me because I have had businesses many times in my life, and I have quit. Whether it was because, it wasn't a right fit or because I just gave up too soon or whatever. So I never really saw true success. I had a moderately successful business in my early 20s doing corporate training, but the economy where I was taking a nosedive, and I decided to shut the shop before things got bad, which in hindsight was probably a good choice, but who knows? Sliding doors, I'll never know what would have happened if.
Yeah.
So most of my life, though, I've tried things out and then gone and taken jobs. And then this last time when I quit my job, I knew without a doubt that come hell or high water, I was going to make my business work. And I was going to make a business. I didn't know what it was going to be, but I was going to build a business around me. And I didn't have a plan. I didn't have the vision when I quit my job. I didn't plan it well. I didn't have savings or anything like that. I quit quite impulsively, and I just knew no matter what. And that knowing has never gone away. And I think that's the thing, when I finally, it wasn't I'm going to do this because I didn't have a plan. It was just this is what I have to do. And this is all I'm willing to do for the rest of my life. And, I quit my job. My official last day of work was the 28th of December, 2014. And that knowingness has only gotten stronger and stronger.
How much of a struggle was that, though? That's a heck of a change and a different mind shift that you have to adopt or you sink.
Yes.
How difficult was that for you?
I don't think it was difficult because I was ready. Now, that's not to say there aren't challenges. There's always challenges. Mindset. I've already told you about a few, right? And when you don't have a stable anything coming in, you don't know if money is going to come in and you're going to be able to pay the mortgage or, food or whatever. I went deeply, deeply into debt when I quit my job, and I am not out of debt by any stretch of the imagination yet. It's probably going to take me quite some time. But it's okay. It's like, again, I just have this knowingness that everything is going to be okay. And when I look for the evidence of that, when I pay attention to the things that are showing up in my life, pointing me in the direction that everything's going to be okay, I have to focus on those things and not focus on what might not be okay. Right? Like I can't focus on things that come up. Like I had literally yesterday, it was so exhausting. I waited till the last minute to do it. It took me 3 hours to file evidence against a dispute. So I had taken on the wrong client, right? I'd said yes because of the money, and he was a wrong fit, and he was extremely draining. And after a while, I finally said enough's enough, and I told him I couldn't work with him anymore, and I refunded a portion of his payment, more than I should have technically, but I did. I just wanted him to go. Well, then I was just, like I said, I was speaking at PodFest, and I got, during that time, and this is months later, right? I got a message from the bank saying that this guy had disputed basically all of the money he paid me.
Wow.
And I was like, no. And I have plenty of evidence, right? But it's just the hassle of it. And so at that time, it was really frustrating. I'm getting this message that hundreds of dollars have just come out of my bank account for work that I over-delivered on, and I'm out of town. I'm busy. It was just really bad timing. But I said in the moment, I was like, all right, I am not going to worry about this right now, because I could either focus on this problem and this money going out, or I can breathe and let it go and focus on all the great things. And I have to tell you, Antonio, that day I was invited to go speak at a very high level event with some of the best people in the world. My expenses are covered, and I'm like being positioned like a rock star to people who are paying $5,000 a seat to get in front of me. that I don't believe would have happened, that opportunity, had I been stuck in the what was wrong. So here I let go of a few $100s to make tens of thousands of dollars in exchange.
Those are the types of stories I love because they're just around the corner and we don't see it unless we kind of focus in that direction. And for some reason, it always works out when you are aiming for something better. Always.
I think though, we put time restraints on it and things don't work out in the time we expect them to.
Right.
And that's why most people don't have success because they have all these restrictions. And if you have all the restrictions, then you're not truly open to the abundance. You are in that scarcity model still, and you are looking for proof that what you're told is possible isn't, because what you know to be true is the scarcity. And I think that's the most difficult shift is, you asked about, I think, the hardest thing about leaving the job. And I think that is it. It's every single day I have to continue training myself and reinforcing what I know to be true, but what I have spent, almost 40 years being taught is not true. And so it's every day I just have to continue reinforcing what I want and disempowering what I don't want.
Yeah. And the thing is this is a hell of a marathon, and if you don't enjoy running, if you don't enjoy what you're doing, you're going to quit the race. So you must do things that you enjoy doing. What one thing in your business are you currently struggling to overcome?
I want to say nothing, but there is something that's coming up for me. Finding the right team. I'm attracting wonderful clients and amazing abundance, and I have yet to find the right assistance. And so as I am growing my business, I need support, and I need support from the right people. Do you know what I mean? I need to hire people who aren't just having
a job just to have a job.
Exactly. And you know what I really want, to be completely honest? I have told a couple of people this, but when I was a kid, I interned. And even when I wasn't interning, even when I had a job, I was so motivated to learn everything I could from my employers because I really loved them and I really loved what I was doing. That's who I want. I want a young person who wants to be an entrepreneur, who really sees themselves as a thought leader, as an influencer, as somebody who's going to take over the world, and who wants to be prosperous and happy and all that stuff. And I want to mentor them. That's what I want. I'm not looking for, an employee to necessarily stick with me forever, but I want to teach what I know to people who are going to go out and take that and be better.
You're looking for a sponge, which is good.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
That's what I was. Yeah.
What do you feel is the one biggest business triumph to date for you?
I don't know. I really don't know. I just appreciate all of it. I don't think there's a triumph. I've just been enjoying the journey and the things that have come along the way. I'm just so appreciative of.
Appreciation is everything. I love it. Gratitude. All right, hang tight, successors. We'll return to our conversation with Nicole Holland as well as quick success after a word from our sponsors. Are you tired of using a ton of different services to help run your business? Here comes Zenlista to the rescue. With Zenlista, you can connect, post, schedule, and find content from all of your social media accounts. List and auto-update your company listing on over 300 sites and search engines. Generate live leads sent directly to your email. Monitor and manage your reviews and reputation before they're available to the public. See how you compare to your competitors. You can even create landing pages to gain new clients. Along with free one-on-one training after sign-up, Zenlista has all of this and so much more, all in one place. Exclusive for the first 250 listeners, receive 75% off the regular price. Sign up today at the4pos.com/Zen. Again, that's the4pos.com/ZEN. Are you a busy person who works day in and day out? Do you find yourself feeling tense and tired all the time with stress and sicknesses controlling your life, possibly creating a sleep disorder? You know about all the current health topics but don't find the time? Maybe Cedric, Patrick, and Philippe at Bellison can help. Aside from creating modular supplements that can fit your very own needs, you can visit Bellison.com for tons of recipes, health-related articles, and more. Why modular supplements? Modularity is the key because you are not just standard. With standards as high as Bellison, you're buying from a company that helps take care of our environment, doesn't harm animals, and whose products are made of high-quality, premium plant-based ingredients in every capsule. That's Bellison.com. Did you know that you can cook healthy, exercise, and meditate in just 30 minutes a day? Bellison.com. From recipes and supplements to exercise and life hacks to be healthy, Bellison.com has it all. After Bellison, just imagine the immense possibilities you will have as the new you. Go ahead and give Bellison supplements a try. I use them every day, and I feel great, energetic, and focused. Visit Bellison now at Bellison.com. That's BELISAN.com and receive a 10% discount on your first order with coupon code THE4POS. So give them a shot. Compassion and quality without compromise. Bellison.com. And we're back with Nicole Holland of InterviewsThatConvert.com. Now we get into the part of the show I like to call Quick Success, where you, Nicole, can inspire the successors to enhance their lives and businesses in the areas of knowledge, health, wealth, and spirituality. Nicole, what are you currently doing to enhance your knowledge?
Oh my gosh. I know I should be prepared for this, but you ask, and I'm like, again, every day. I think every day I am open to what is presented. And anytime I feel like, oh, I want something, I find a way to get it. And so I'm always learning. I'm always a sponge.
That's good. I love that. What are you currently doing to enhance your health?
I think health is holistic. And so it's mind, body, spirit. And I start the day with a practice of not having meetings, interviews, anybody else's stuff on my agenda until noon or after. So in the mornings, if I feel inspired to work out, I'll work out. If I feel inspired to take a walk, I'll take a walk. If I feel inspired to clean. So I don't have a regimented fitness schedule or anything like that. I mean, I do eat gluten-free. I do like whole foods, stuff like that. But I'm also very fluid. So I say the mornings are mine. And like today I got up and I felt really inspired to work out. So I did.
What you said is you said it's not regimented. It's pretty much in general life activity. And right now I'm kind of fascinated with blue zones of the world. You know, those areas in the world where people are living to 100 years old and more. And it seems the one thing in common they all have is their activity is not exercise related. It's just daily things, daily activities, walking, no sitting, all standing, walking to the market, doing things in the home, physical activity, farming, things like that. But it's not necessarily quote unquote exercise. And of course it's the diet. But I'm fascinated with that.
Yeah, I'd not heard of the Blue Zone. I'm going to have to check that out.
There's actually one Blue Zone in the United States. It's in California. I forgot the city.
Cool.
Okay. What are you doing to enhance your wealth?
Enjoying the flow.
Enjoying the flow.
Yeah.
That's good. Nice and simple. I like that. What are you currently doing to enhance your spirituality?
Tuning more into my gut instinct, if you will, or intuition, and following that, which allows for the flow.
Intuition is so powerful for so many people. I feel like mine is almost too powerful sometimes.
And you know what? I love that you said that, because that's how I felt as a kid. I knew things and things would happen and it scared the crap out of me.
Yes.
And so I turned that mess off after I had a friend and he died and I knew it. And then I woke up and I called his mom. I called his house to talk to him, and I knew and it was confirmed by his mother. And that was that was the day where I turned off my intuition for many, many, many years. And now it's, that's my spiritual practice, I guess, is just really tuning in and not only listening more and acting more on it, but being comfortable to talk about it and to embrace it and love it. And I think the more I do that, the more attuned I am. And it's amazing. Love is such a powerful part of this life equation. Super powerful. Okay, pertaining to being successful, what do you feel is one of the best pieces of advice you've ever received? I get this question a lot, and I can't think of any advice that I have received externally, and I can't think of anything specific that I've received internally, but it really goes back to that intuition. When I listen to what I know without questioning it, I'm on point, and it's always the best advice. And when I question it or quiet it or listen to external voices, that's where I have problems. Yes. Are there any modern technologies or apps or anything that you use to help you achieve success? Yes. I love technology, even though I always thought I hated it. I love it. As an entrepreneur who has a business that is not here, not brick and mortar, my life is online. And one of my favorite tools, it's called Acuity Scheduling. I use it for everything from setting up discovery calls to client appointments to my interviews, everything. Acuity Scheduling is the best. And then also zoom.us, that is very, very important. It's my virtual office, so I can see people. I can help them with things. It's great because you can do screen share, and not only that, you can do remote control. So when I am helping my clients, do things that are technical, I'm not just telling them. I can actually say, okay, let me take over the control of the computer, and then I'm going to walk you through. They have it on video. It's amazing. It's like being in the same office together. Wow. Clients love that kind of thing. I mean, that's ultra customer service and ultra tech support. Technology is incredible. I'm such a nerd. Amazing. I love it. I can't get enough of it. What new thing, book, activity, technology, or skill are you really excited to learn and dive into? Well, what's coming to mind for me right now is my friend Dory Clark's new book, because it's sitting on my desk, and it's called Stand Out. It's how to find your breakthrough ideas and build a following around it. And she is amazing. If you've never heard of Dory Clark, definitely check her out. She's got another book called Reinventing You. She just won a Grammy as a producer on a jazz album. Wow. She teaches at Harvard and Duke. I mean, she's amazing. And I'm just excited for what's next for her. She's got a program. I think it'll probably already be closed by the time this interview airs, but it's called, Recognized Expert, I believe. And she teaches people basically how to do what she's done and become this worldwide sensation and stand out. Yeah. Wow, that's good. As far as helping our listeners achieve success in whatever it is that they are doing, what advice do you feel that you can give them? Be you. Seriously, do not try and fit into somebody else's box. Do not mute yourself from being yourself just because you think it's appropriate or because it's what's expected. Because every time you do that, you are silencing yourself to the people who need you the most and who are going to be inspired by you and who want to work with you. So in entrepreneurship, the more authentic you can be, the more you can shine your own light, the more you let others be seen as well and inspired by you. And you, again, going back to what we were talking about before, that attraction versus selling, you attract your tribe and you rise them up. And I mean, it's just the more you can be you, be you. Always be yourself. There's at least 1,000 people who love everything that you love. For sure. So, Nicole,
You have a special offer for our listeners. What is that?
I do. And, before we did this recording, what I wanted to do was give people a cheat sheet. But now that I've created my new podcast, Get Guest Ready, it doesn't even make sense to give them the cheat sheet. So it's like nothing in compared to what I've done. Because as I said before, what used to be Interviews That Convert, the program, is now completely free. So the link that you can go to get that is interviewsthatconvert.com/the 4POS for the 4 principles of success. So interviewsthatconvert.com/the 4POS, and that will take you right to my podcast where you can start listening, and then you'll get to know where to sign up for the free course. And if you start listening to the podcast, you're going to find out if my message resonates with you or not. Like we talked about before, there are a lot of people helping experts get on podcasts as guests. My message might not be for you, but if you start listening and you're like, oh yeah, that's for me, and you want to learn more from me, on the podcast, I'll tell you how to get into the course. It's completely free. And then you can get all of my tools, my checklists and my spreadsheets and all the stuff that I use to book my VIP clients. I'll literally walk you through how to do it yourself.
All right, successors, you heard that. Interviewsthatconvert.com/the 4POS. Go there and get some excellent, valuable information from Nicole. Finally, Nicole, how can our listeners connect with you?
Yeah, you know what? That is the best way. Really, if you go over to interviewsthatconvert.com/the 4POS, there's a link there for my website. There's the audio, everything I do is all connected. So that's the best way. And again, in that podcast, I talk about how to sign up for free for the program, and you'll have access to all of my social media, my email, and all that. I'm pretty transparent. So if you want to get in touch, that's the best way to do it.
Excellent. Great. Sounds wonderful to me. Successors, I hope you've enjoyed my conversation with business owner Nicole Holland. Please check out more successful content like this at the4pos.com, as well as all the other ways you can find podcasts. They're everywhere right now. And of course, it's all for free, so feel free to listen, rate, and review. Thanks for listening, and prepare for success. Thanks, Nicole.
Thank you.
If you want to be more driven and more motivated in your life or business, go to the4pos.com/free book and grab a copy of my book, Indulge Your Affirmative Motivation Within. 25 Motivations of Personal Development and Life Success. Get it now at the4pos.com/free book. Again, that's the4pos.com/free book.